Hi everyone, welcome to Sweet Pieces Inspirations. My name is Sydney and today we are going to learn how to do the matching slouchy to the Cloister Duster Vest. If you are interested in making the duster vest and haven't checked it out yet, I will make sure that there is a link on this video so that you can easily access it. But the tutorial today is going to be based on a women's small to medium size slouchy, and we are actually not going to decrease these stitches at all. We are going to do a method that is called the exclosure. Most people use this for if they are using a knitting machine and don't want to decrease their beanie when they take it off the knitting machine. So that is the method that we are using today. So again, we do not have to decrease these stitches. If you are not very fond of decreasing, then that is wonderful news for you. Now there is two different ways that you can do the brim for this hat. You can do the first one that I did that you see right here, which is I worked it in the round, I chained up 77, working it in the round, and I just single crocheted in each stitch. By chaining one starting off and then single crochet into 77 stitches, and I think I did that for at least 7 rows. Or you can follow me like what I'm going to do today. I'm doing a different kind of brim, a little bit more stretchier brim, and this is just half double crochet in the front and back loop, working as a flat. So some things that you are going to need for this tutorial is you are definitely going to need a crochet hook. I am using a 4mm crochet hook, and the yarn is going to have to be a 3-weight yarn. I am using a Mandela cake that is, I think, the Centaur color. You will need at least 300 yards for this tutorial today. You are also going to need your tapestry or darning needles so that we can close off the hat and weave in our ends, and of course a pair of scissors. So I guess we can go ahead and get started. Grab your hook and grab your yarn, and we will start on the brim. Start off by chaining 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Once you have those 8 chains, in the second chain from the hook, we are going to place a half double crochet. Go ahead and place a half double crochet in each stitch until you reach the end. You should have 7 stitches. So now we are going to start the repeat for the brim. Go ahead and chain 1 and turn your work. We are now on the wrong side of our work. In that very first stitch, we are going to place a half double crochet. And in the next 5 stitches, we are going to go into this very first loop. So if we were crocheting like we would originally, you would go into this loop, but we are going into this very first loop right here, and go ahead and place a half double crochet into that loop and continue doing that for the next 4. So you should have 5. And in that very last stitch, we are going to place a half double crochet. So you should have 7 stitches in total. So that is the first repeat, and that will be on the wrong side. For the second row repeat, we are going to go ahead and chain 1 and turn our work. And as you see, the first row repeat, what we did was made a ridging or a ribbing, whichever you want to call it. And now we are going to do the opposite of what we did, where we are on the right side of our work. Go ahead and in that very first stitch, we are going to place a half double crochet. And instead of going into that very first loop, we are going to go into that very back loop. So if we were to just crochet as we normally would, we would go into these 2 loops. But instead of going into those 2 loops, we are just going into that very back loop. So that is what we are going to do for the next 5 stitches. Again, go into that very back loop and place a half double crochet. And in that last stitch, we are going to place a regular half double crochet. So that is the 2 row repeat. Again, that gives you a ridging or a ribbing. Continue doing that until you have in total 46 rows, and then I will meet you for the next part. Once you have completed all 46 rows, go ahead and flip your brim to the wrong side of your work and bring both ends together, and we are going to sew these 2 together by slip stitching in each stitch. So I'm going to do that real quick, and the reason why we are flipping it on the back side is that way we don't have a very noticeable seam. So go ahead and slip these stitches together. After you have gotten those seamed together, go ahead and chain 1. And now we have to get 77 single crochets onto this brim. So go ahead and single crochet in each stitch. Some stitches you might have to place 2 single crochets, just making sure you do have 77 stitches straight across. And I will meet you once I have got all 77. Once you have gotten 77 stitches all the way across, go ahead and chain up 3. 1, 2, and 3. We are now going to work on the 3 row repeat for the main portion of the slouchy. This chain 3 is going to count as a stitch. And go ahead and place another double crochet into that same space. Go ahead and chain 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Skip the next 6 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. In that 7th stitch, we are going to place a double crochet 2 together. So yarn over, go into that stitch, yarn over, draw up a loop, and pull through 2. Again, yarn over, go into that same space, draw up a loop, pull through 2, and then pull through 3. After you have gotten the double crochet 2 together, chain 2, 1 and 2, and we are going to place another double crochet 2 together in that same space. So again, yarn over, go into that same space, draw up a loop, pull through 2. Yarn over, go into that same space, draw up a loop, pull through 2, and pull through 3. So that is our repeating unit. Again, we are going to chain up 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Skip the next 6 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. In that 7th stitch, go ahead and place your double crochet 2 together. Chain 2, 1 and 2, and place another double crochet 2 together in that same space. So continue doing the repeating unit until you get to that last, or until you get to the end, and then I will meet you for the ending. In that very last stitch, we are going to do the same thing. Place a double crochet 2 together. Chain 2, and now we are going to slip stitch to the top of that chain 3 space that we made at the beginning. And so that is our round 1. For round number 2, go ahead and chain 3. So 1, 2, and 3. In that same space, place another double crochet. Chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We're going to skip this chain 5 space and go straight to that double, or the 2 chain. We're going to skip that chain 5 space and go straight to the chain 2 space and place a double crochet 2 together. Chain 2 and place another double crochet 2 together in that same space. Chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Skip that chain 5 space and go into that chain 2 space, place a double crochet 2 together. Chain 2 and then place another double crochet 2 together, and that is our repeating unit until you get to the end, and then I will meet you for the ending and then for the 3rd row repeat. Once you have made it to the end, you will have your chain 5, and then you'll skip this chain 5, skip that double crochet 2 together and go into that chain 2 space and place a double crochet 2 together. Chain 2, and then we are going to slip stitch into the top of that chain 3 that we made at the beginning. So that is the 2nd row repeat. For the 3rd row repeat, we are going to chain 3 again. That is going to count as a double crochet. Go into that same space and place another double crochet. Chain 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. We are now going to grab both of these chain 5 spaces and place a single crochet. So you should have grabbed both of those chain 5 spaces and placed a single crochet. Go ahead and chain 4 again. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Go into that chain 2 space, place a double crochet 2 together. Chain 2, place another double crochet 2 together in that same space. And that is going to be our repeating unit. Again, once more, chain 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Grab both of those chain 5 spaces, place a single crochet, and chain 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And in that chain 2 space, place a double crochet 2 together, chain 2, and a double crochet 2 together. So continue repeating that until you get to the end, and then I will meet you for the ending and then further instructions for the slouchy. I'm at the end of the 3rd row repeat. So again, I'm going to skip that double crochet 2 together, go into that chain 2 space and place a double crochet 2 together. Go ahead and chain 2 and then slip stitch to the top of that chain 3 space that we made at the beginning. We are going to continue doing the 3 row repeat until you have in total 18 rows. Again, we are not decreasing these stitches in any kind of way. So once I have my 18 rows completed, I will meet you for the closing off of the beanie. Now that you have all 18 rows, you should have left off with the 3rd row repeat, which was where we catched both of those chain 5s with a single crochet. So now we are going to do a row of single crochets, and we have to get 77 stitches. So we are going to chain 1, and in the first chain 4 space, we are going to place 2 single crochets. In the single crochet, we are going to place 1 single crochet, and then in the chain 4 space, we are going to place 2 single crochets. Go ahead and skip the double crochet 2 together and go into the chain 2 space and place 2 single crochets. So that is what we are going to repeat until we get all the way around, and you should have 77 stitches once you have finished this off. So I'm going to just continue, and I will meet you for the closing off the beanie. Once you have gotten all 77 single crochets, go ahead and slip stitch into that chain 1 space that we made at the beginning, and then you can go ahead and cut your work, making sure you leave a fairly decent long tail so that we can close off this hat. So we are going to do the X closure method, and wherever your tail is, that is going to be your centermost part, and we are going to sew the 2 sides together. And I will do that once or twice through 2 stitches at least 2 or 3 really. And then whichever side that you left off on, which I have left off on the right side, I'm going to take this point and I'm going to bring it to the centermost part and sew that together. And again, I will go through a stitch or 2 doing that. That's really up to you if you want to do that or not. It's just I prefer it that way. And then once you have gotten that completed, we are going to take these 2 flaps that you've got on the edge or on the sides, and we are going to sew those. So it looks like you've got 4 individual pieces. We are going to sew all of those together. then you have to actually switch it to the edge to the other side. And then you would do the exact same thing to the other side. Go ahead and pinch the 2 points together, sew them, and then sew these 2 pieces together. So this is about what it will look like once you have got it completed. So you do see a X going on here. That's really about it as far as the tutorial goes, other than weaving any kind of ends that you might have. But I hope you guys did enjoy this tutorial. Don't forget to give me a like, share, comment, or a subscribe. But also go check out my other knitting and crocheting tutorials. And if you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can feel free to email me, and which all of my links will be down in the description box. And I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time.